Yep, I've got you covered. I'll watch both of them. No problem.
That's what I really appreciate that. Yeah, thanks.
Well, I see a couple people are still trickling in, so we'll allow for that, but I'm going to go ahead and introduce our speaker today. Lana Benton is a program manager with Tri-C Ohio Options, formerly Tri-C Aspire. She's been with ABLE, Aspire, whichever you want to call it, throughout the years, and Ohio Options for more than 20 years. Before adult education, Lana worked as a department manager at University of Illinois at Chicago, and in 2016, she became a non-traditional graduate student. In 2019, she achieved her MA in education, leadership in higher ed, specifically from Baldwin Wallace. She's a wife of 35 years, a mother of 3, and an Ama Sani, aka grandmother to her favorite little person. Lana has a passion for researching, learning, and creating innovative strategies to engage adult learners and help them achieve success. And today she's here to tell us about collaborative performance evaluation. Lana, they're all yours.
Thank you so much, Tessa. Always a pleasure working with Tessa. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in. I want to thank you for joining me this afternoon and listening to what I have to share with you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Oops. Give me one moment here. We had some problems earlier in our last presentation, so hopefully I won't have problems here. So collaborative performance evaluation. So why is it so important to have this collaborative performance evaluation? Well, the reason why it's important for me is because I really do believe that there are different styles of leadership, as we all know. And I just really believe that one of the best styles of leadership is authentic and transparent. I believe it's important to be authentic with the people that you're working with on your team, transparent with them. I also think it's important to understand situation leadership, that as tiring as I think situation leadership can be sometimes, one size doesn't fit all. And you have to know the people that you're with on your team. And so this is where the collaborative performance evaluation idea came from, just working together as a team. I work with Tri-C part-time employees. All of our teachers are part-time employees. We would love to have them full-time, but right now they're part-time. And at the college uses what is called the mid-year and the annual year evaluation for the part-time employees. And so with this, it meets all the requirements. Just gonna always have this problem. So we're looking at different average in the different areas. Basically, this evaluation only gives us 3 ways that we can really look at our teachers. And for example, it says meets all requirements, is above average in all the following areas. That is really like real tight. Another, requirements are being met satisfactorily. Sometimes okay, but there could be some room for improvement. Doesn't quite give us that. Performance is unsatisfactory, probationary status is recommended. And I'm like, where's the in between here? Where's the middle? Where do we work on this? So leading professionals in the learning community is just really important. And I think it's important to focus on people's strengths and building leaders and promoting team. And though I think that, of course, because I work for Tri-C, that the method that's used is great, I think that we wanted to look at something that would really, as I said, focus on our teachers' strengths, and that would really help us build future leaders and promote team. And we do that a lot because we get our students involved in a lot. So what's the whole process? How did I start this journey of saying, well, we need something a little different that we can use? So when CoAB conference was in Dallas in 2016, I was sitting in a presentation with Rio Soldado Community College, and they introduced this fantastic concept. And the concept was really the idea of having almost like not really a almost like a grid, a chart of indicators, right? Indicators of, okay, if an instructor is doing well here are some indicators. If an instructor is not doing so well, here are the indicators that would indicate to you that that's not happening. I thought it was a fantastic idea. So then I went back and I introduced a similar idea to our team, right? And I introduced the similar idea to the teachers. Well, that similar idea of the indicators, I think it was too close to program indicators. That particular idea didn't really go over too well. And I think probably the reason why it didn't go over well is it was very, very, very detailed. And not that this idea that we're going to use now and proposing now isn't, but this was a little bit more detailed, such as, class starts at 10 o'clock. At 9:45, you'd be in the classroom at your seat. And some of the teachers were like, what? And I think I lost them at that point. Okay. So at that point, I started realizing that the first version, it really didn't promote collaboration. It didn't promote that collaboration between the teachers and the managers. So while I was in graduate school, I began to do some research on community college reform. And it was while I was doing taking my class and working on community college reform that I was introduced to assessment research. So started looking at assessments, and I ran across the idea of the rubrics. So these are called value rubrics. They were introduced by the Association of American Colleges and Universities. What these value rubrics did is they validated the assessment of learning in undergraduate education, evidence-based, faculty-based. So here we have again the concept of community collaboration between the faculty and leadership. So it was tested on over 150 campuses. The faculty, they came together, they agreed upon these rubrics. And from what they agreed upon, and they made sure that it aligned with the degree qualification profile. And I think that's very important. And what was important about these rubrics is that it didn't just look at the test scores, right? It looked at the real knowledge. And I think that's important because sometimes I think that when we're dealing with these tests that everybody's taking, we're not looking at the real knowledge. We all know that somebody can pass a test on a good day, but that doesn't really mean that they really have the real knowledge that goes with that backs that up. That's another reason why, even though a lot of people don't, I really love the student portfolios because if used right, they really validate the test. It validates real knowledge. And so the Association of American Colleges and Universities pulled this together. And over the years, they came up with, I believe it's like 28 value rubrics. And that's when I realized that the rubrics were probably more efficient because though they were still meaty enough, it did a better job of measuring what the program and instructors understand about their job. It wasn't just this bland putting them into three categories, right? But it measures what they know. Secondly, the first draft was too rigid, as I said. Like I said about being at the copier when class starts, and though it's true, you should be in your classroom. It really has nothing to do with whether or not they're a good instructor. It's true. That was hard for me to realize because I can be sometimes very dot your I, cross your T, but I realized that didn't really have anything to do with them being a good instructor. And then thirdly, most important of all, it looked at every core of what the instructors do and it validated their work. So at that point, what I would like to do, I'm going to share with you. Stop sharing here. And I'm going to go here. Okay, so this is an example of the rubrics right here. Okay, and let me see if you guys can see that. Can everybody see this? Okay.
Looks good. Yep.
Okay, thank you. So the value rubrics take a look at, and the rubric that we've created for the teachers, it takes a look from the very beginning, from the opening orientation to the classroom. We divided into 3 categories: accomplished, acceptable, and needs improvement. And I worked on this with the other 2 managers. This was another reason why we felt it was necessary to move away from just using the straight Tri-C evaluation, performance evaluation, which we will have to still use. But we needed a piece in between, and that's this piece in between. This piece that spoke to the knowledge that the teachers have about their position. This basically simply speaks to the training that we offer in Aspire from the moment the teachers come in, all of the things that we train them on, all of the things that they need to do with the student. So that's what the rubric speaks to. And so it's kind of hard for me to kind of show you everything on the rubric, but I'll do my best to make sure that it's up there. But for example, at orientation, the motivational components, the OMJ, it's important. We all know that we want to make sure that our students set up their backpacks. That's the truth. Goal setting form reviewed and signed on the back. We have a goal setting form that we do with our students. It's very important. We review the students' TABE scores and the student portfolios. The bottom line is all of this is real information that the teachers do together. The reason we also want to look at this rubric is because there are 3 managers, myself and 2 others, and we have a great team. But as great as our team is, we think differently, we see things differently. And my concern became with the performance evaluation form that is used, if you don't have a piece like a rubric in the middle, okay, what basically will happen is that I can become subjective, I can say, well, no, I really don't like you. It's amazing, but we all have it. It happens to all of us, no matter how hard we try. And so then you have another teacher, okay, who's working in the same program, right, but under another manager, and that manager may see things a little differently. And so again, the performance evaluation, it just didn't seem equitable. It didn't seem fair across the board. And so that's what we wanted to do. That's the piece that we wanted to create. And so the managers, we all work together on this, okay? The other reason why I like this rubric is because here comes the collaboration. The draft has been, and it still says draft, the draft has been shared with the staff, with all the teachers, the managers, everybody has seen this, okay? A few new instructors may not have yet, but again, it's still in the draft mode. And I'm showing that my internet connection is unstable, so I hope you guys can hear me still. But anyway, the other reason we want to work on this is we want the teachers to know from the moment they come in what is expected of them. So from the moment someone sits in the interview to the moment they come into our program and we meet with them and we review their job description and their responsibilities, we try our best. All of our new teachers coming in receive mentors. And so again, the mentors know, everybody knows what is expected of them. That's collaboration. And so therefore, at the end, give me one moment. I'm going to stop sharing for just a moment here. Give me one moment. Okay, just want you to see this piece. The other thing that we looked at is, okay, here are the basic things that and this is a lot for teachers. We call our teachers training specialists. So this is a lot for our teachers to do, but honestly, this is exactly what Aspire says their job is. But then we thought we have some teachers that are exceeding. Because again, on that performance evaluation, it alludes to the fact that the people are exceeding, and exceeding in what? We wanted to agree upon what does an exceeding instructor look like? And so these are the categories that we came up with. Someone who's achieving, exceeding, okay? It applies to be a conference presenter. They participate in specialized state trainings. They create and utilize advanced technology platforms. They display leadership by participating or creating innovative program initiatives. We have teachers that are literally doing that. They're involved in the curriculum. They're involved in not only knowing the DE technology platforms, they go beyond. How can they use this to better the student? Those are exceeding. So this is an accomplished exceeding person. And then someone who's not fully accomplished, but right there, they attend the staff meetings, they attend the staff trainings, they volunteer at the graduation, they proctor orientation labs. And then we have the final column where not exceeding at all. There's no extra activities, no participation. They do their job. And that's fine because that's what they're paid to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there are some people that go the extra, and we want to be able to tell them because, again, we all know what rubrics do in the collaborative conversation. This is basically what's expected. It's your job description, it's broken down. It puts the ownership back on the instructor. And honestly, it takes the pressure off of me as a manager and the other two managers. And it helps us to collaborate together. It helps us to have one standard that we measure everybody by. And that's why I feel that this teaching rubric is very important. And even though it still says draft, because we don't know if we're going to change it very soon, I hope that we'll be able to adopt it program-wide. But again, it's a very useful tool because it puts the ownership on the instructor. And there's nothing hidden, it's transparent. Leaders should be transparent. And it says to an instructor, would you like to be someone who's accomplished? Would you like to be someone who's just, intermediate? Or here, we want you to know that if you fall in this category where you're doing these things, you're not going to get a very good review and evaluation. And so then this piece is used. We also have something we call the audit report. The audit report is used to basically go in and take a look at things such as the student folders, what you call the administrative folders, the portfolios, those different pieces, right? Really taking a look at, are they using the DE technology? Are those reports, all right, not just using it, are those reports reflected on the IOP and put into the portfolio for the students? So do you have your emergency lesson plans? Do you have your regular lesson plans? Are you using? So again, those are the pieces that we do. We go in, we try to do it at least twice. It's been challenging in the midst of COVID, but normally we go in twice, in the fall and then the spring, to kind of look at our teachers' work in that area. And now this piece is being introduced as another method that we use. Another third piece we use is the classroom observation. Those three pieces, okay, the audit, the classroom observation, and this piece would then lend itself to completing the Tri-C performance, part-time performance evaluation. So I'm gonna stop sharing one more time here. Okay. So if you take a look down here, this is the very last page. So it's a 3-page document landscape. Very last page, we said, any training specialist receiving needs improvement in any area must meet with his or her manager to review the processes and procedures. Again, we wanted this to be collaborative and not punitive. We wanted this to be an opportunity to have a dialogue, to improve. This is not about being punitive. It really is all about promoting that collaboration and helping us work together so that we're all strong, that every member on the team is strong. Any training specialist receiving needs improvement in any area will receive only one class assignment until the instructor can show improvement in the content area. Again, this isn't just important now about the teacher and about the program, I'm sorry, the teacher and the manager. It's important about the program and the student. I want as a manager, I value my integrity to give the students a good program. And I really do take it very serious. Sometimes I've asked myself, am I being a little bit too serious on this? But I really do. Any training specialist failing to move to acceptable within the fall, spring academic calendar will be moved to the substitute list. Now, again, that is not meant to be punitive. We're hoping that with the rubric, with the opportunities that we give for dialogue, and the steps that we have before we get to failing, that will not happen. And again, we want to put everything out on the table, okay? Nothing hidden from our teachers at all. And then correlation to the Tri-C part-time employee performance evaluation. This is the important piece for us. So the rubric has points, right? So a training specialist rubric who has 60 plus points, that's a part-time employee performance evaluation that is above average. And the managers and we agree upon that. And the teachers, they know this. Training specialist rubric, 30 to 59 points. That's a part-time employee performance evaluation that met satisfactorily. They're right at the satisfaction, they're meeting everything okay. But then a training specialist rubric that has less than 30 points, that's the part-time employee performance evaluation probationary status recommended. Now I have to tell you at Tri-C, we don't ever want to reach this point of a probationary measure. A teacher doesn't, we don't, our program doesn't. So again, this is not about punitive. This is about being upfront and honest about everything right away so that we all know what's expected of us. To put a teacher through probationary period at Tri-C means that the instructor and the manager meet for 6 weeks and they create a plan to do what? Again, not punitive, to build that instructor up to where they need to be. And so really, this is all what it's about. And succession is important. So as we're meeting with teachers, some managers, some coordinators, we're not going to always be around. We want to make sure that we're giving instructors an opportunity to grow, to learn, to grow, and to move into other positions. And so what better way is to have something out here, this rubric, that can really lay out for them what is all expected of them. Okay. So I'm having this. Sorry, guys, be patient. Okay, here we go. So again, I just pulled the rubric up for you to show it to you already. I just felt this was kind of too small. But again, it fosters collaboration. It's authentic. It's objective. It's not subjective. It places the ownership on the instructor, and it promotes team, and it's positive. That's the whole plan, is be positive, not punitive. So I didn't have, this is probably one of the shortest presentations that you've come to me today, because I really didn't have a lot of information, but I felt that I just felt the idea was something that was helpful. And I know in 2016, when I first heard the idea of having some type of indicators for our teachers so that they can measure themselves by, I thought fantastic. The other thing that I heard in 2016 that was very important was that it was not always the coordinator or the manager that was going in the classroom. They were using lead teachers. And so, that's another idea that we might morph this to, is the idea of using those mentors, right? We have a team of mentors, using some of our mentors or our team leaders to really help take a look at this. Okay, so you have your manager, you have your instructor, and if the instructor agrees, maybe that mentor can sit down, because maybe that mentor sees something that the manager doesn't, and maybe we need to have that conversation with that mentor even before this takes place, especially with our new teachers, because we want to make sure that we all know, we say it takes about a year, maybe a year and a half, to really learn Aspire and to really get it down. So again, I want to thank you. This was it. And I hope that this has been useful. I hope this is an interesting idea. I want to thank you for joining me. Do you have any questions or any comments?
Feel free to post your questions or comments in either chat, either directly in the Zoom or in the Whova chat. And I'm sure Lana would be fine if you unmuted yourself too and just asked questions directly.
Yes. Like, I have a question. Do you think that this is an idea that would be useful for some teachers to would it be useful to have a rubric, use the concept?
I think the rubric's a great idea. Thanks, Lana.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm already thinking about how I can rework ours.
Oh, thanks, Emily.
Yeah, and I like the idea that, you know, you've made it easier on yourself, because I can say personally, it's not my favorite task to do to evaluate others.
Yes,
Especially
it is not my favorite either. And especially when I was in grad school and I really started learning about just different styles of leadership. Yeah, this really fits my leadership better.
Absolutely, Lana. I come from being an educator before an administrator, and I know I always enjoyed getting that feedback so that I could grow personally. And, you know, it sets that bar of consistency, like you had mentioned earlier. That way you're not kind of swaying either way or saying, oh, well, I know this person and I know they probably really meant this. You know, it's black and white there. And, you know, there's always room for improvement as an educator. I've always said, you know, the day that you say that you're done learning is probably the day that you should step out of education. So thank you so much. I know I'm going to be reaching out to you and your ladies for support for our program. So I appreciate both presentations.
Thank you. Oh, you were the other one, the agency sessions?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I just totally agree. When I literally saw, I was so impressed when I literally saw these rubrics that are just being used in the college arena now to really get the knowledge base of what the students know. I just think that's fantastic. And so it's really in the community, in the college, especially community college reform, is really replacing a lot of assessments, believe it or not. Teachers or faculty, they're moving towards rubrics for their students. And the rubrics are already created. So if you want to ACLU, you can just look it up, Google it if you want to take a look at some of those rubrics. Pretty cool stuff. I'm sorry, I said ACLU. I am tired. AACU. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm sorry, what was that again? A what?
It's AACU, the American, the Association of American Colleges and Universities.
Thank you.
You're welcome. They're very proud of these rubrics. So. But yeah, I just find as the manager, I think sometimes these evaluations can put a barrier between you and the team that you're trying to build, because you do have to have those tough conversations sometimes. And I'm hoping that these rubrics would help. So I'm looking forward to the day when, so far, like I said, the teachers have looked it over, but COVID hit and it's been a while. So right now it's kind of on hold, but hopefully once we're back in person, we can take a look and we'll draft it. And that's the other piece. It's not done yet. If the teachers come to us and say, well, you know, what about changing this, or what about this idea? We're open to doing that, because it's about collaboration.
Lana, is your email the same as is the ending at tri-c.edu as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. But notice right here on the slide, I have a 2 behind my last name. Quick story. When I first joined Tri-C, when I did, nobody set me down and took me through a training. And I created my email and then I forgot my password. I didn't know who to contact. So then I just created a new password and it's stuck ever since. So the 2 is important.
Oh, okay. So,
And who knows?
so is it Lana.Benton2 at Tri-C?
That is
Got
correct.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, well, again, I really appreciate you guys coming. You have my email address. And Tessa, I don't think the rubric has been attached, and I want it to. So I'm not sure. Maybe I'll reach out to Emily or someone to get that attached to the PowerPoint.
Sounds good. Yeah, well, if you get it to us, we will get it to the appropriate place. And we were having a little discussion in the chat of where the videos, the recordings will be housed. And currently they're housed in the Whova app.
Okay.
And Emily is giving us some direction. If you're looking for previous sessions, you would just go to, right now, you just go to that agenda or go to that session within the agenda to click the link.
Okay, that's good to know. Wonderful. And that's probably where, maybe that's where Emily will upload the rubric. Okay. Well, again, you guys, I really want to thank you guys for coming out and really supporting, and have a wonderful, safe holiday. Today is my last day. I'm on vacation all next week. So I told the staff yesterday we're having our team meeting because in this world, we're having weekly meetings with the managers, with all of our teachers. And I said to them, I said, I'm going on vacation and I will not answer my phone. I will not look at my texts and I will not look at my emails. I do not eat green eggs and ham. and so they were laughing. In other words, I think you got the point. So I'm looking forward to resting, and I hope you are too. And be safe, and thanks again.
Lana, thank you. You deserve that break and stick to those rules. Hope you get the relaxation you need.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.